Writing code is one thing. Trying to write a tutorial about it is where things get messy. Imagine you're a developer publishing a simple instructional post that includes raw HTML structural tags, like a div. When you save that post, your content management system encounters the less than and greater than brackets. In the language of the web, these aren't just characters. They are reserved symbols used to define the skeleton of a page. This is where the conflict happens. As this diagram shows, the web browser doesn't see the tag as text to be read. It absorbs those brackets as a live command, generating an invisible structural box instead of displaying your words. The immediate result is visual chaos. The code snippet your readers were supposed to see vanishes, and the stray tag can actually break the container it sits in, causing the entire page layout to collapse. Because web browsers are built to prioritize structural logic over text display, raw code injections will constantly self-sabotage your site unless you change how that code is written. This problem becomes much more dangerous when you move from a controlled tutorial to an open, public-facing user comment section. This is the primary target for cross-site scripting, or XSS. Instead of a helpful tag, malicious actors submit raw script tags directly into an input field, hoping the site will treat it as a command. The attack works like this. The server stores the unsanitized script in its database. When a victim loads the page, their browser reads those raw brackets and executes the malicious code instantly. To fix this, some developers copy their proprietary code into random third-party online converters. But this just creates a new problem. You're now sending your private logic to an external server you don't control. Between unsanitized inputs and risky third-party processing, you're left with a massive security gap. Closing it requires a way to neutralize code locally before it ever touches a database. The Prime Tool Hub HTML entity encoder and decoder is designed to be that localized intervention, providing a safe way to handle reserved characters. The core mechanism is simple. The tool translates dangerous reserved characters into harmless strings called entity names. For example, it converts the hazardous less than bracket into the specific string &LT semicolon. When this entity string passes through the browser engine, the parser no longer sees a command. Instead of generating a structural box, it renders the characters as readable text. You can also choose entity numbers, which map to the character's decimal position in the Unicode standard. While names are easier to read, these numbers offer the widest possible support for older legacy web browsers. This precise translation ensures the browser treats the input as data rather than logic. By stripping tags of their ability to execute, you can display raw snippets without them ever being interpreted as live code. While standard HTML handles the layout, modern developers also have to deal with the dynamic side of the web, the document object model. If you're using CSS to dynamically insert a special character, standard HTML entities won't work. You need a CSS escape. The tool branches the input into different formats. For CSS, the less than bracket becomes a hex escape, \003c. The third path is JavaScript Unicode. This uses the \U003c conversion to safely move HTML strings through JSON payloads without being misread. Web security isn't one size fits all. Using these environment-targeted translations allow you to inject styling and logic safely, no matter which layer of the stack you're working in. But where those translations happen is just as important as the syntax itself. Most web utilities rely on cloud-based processing, but this studio uses a different architecture. It operates on a 100% offline engine. All conversion algorithms run locally via client-side JavaScript. As this diagram shows, the data never leaves the loop of your own browser window to reach an external server. This local execution eliminates the lag of a server round trip, allowing for instant conversion while keeping your work completely isolated from the public internet. Because no data is ever transmitted, your proprietary code and sensitive payloads remain under your exclusive control. They are processed on your hardware and stay on your hardware. This localized approach results in a workflow that is immune to layout crashes. You can publish tutorials and manage data knowing that the structural integrity of your site is protected. It works both ways too. If you've scraped data that's filled with confusing symbols and entities, you can paste it into the tool to instantly decode it back into clean, human-readable text. There are no hurdles to jump through. There are no signups, no mandatory registrations, and absolutely no paywalls. It's a fast, local method for sanitizing code, ensuring your tutorials look perfect while neutralizing the threat of script injection. Stop web vulnerabilities and secure your coding workflow today. Search for Prime Tool Hub to get started.